Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, online students, can you able to hear? Right. So here, now this is a second class. Now, yesterday it was a first class, and all these classes are regular classes, and you have to attend the classes regularly. Okay. So there's no demo classes. Might be for you, might be a demo classes, but all these are regular classes, and you have to attend the classes regularly. Okay. So because first of all, the duration is only 2 months, and 2 months you have to cover all these things. Okay. If I'm taking some 15, 10 classes demo, you are wasting the time. Okay. So there's no demo classes for me, but for you, might be a demo classes. Okay. So yesterday we started directly some introduction. I said what you are learning in UI. So this is a common. So this front end is a common for all the full stack people. Okay. Either you are a full stack. Now here you have different people, different students from different, okay, full stack. So full stack Java is there. Okay. And there is a full stack. You have a full stack Java and full stack, okay, .NET is there and full stack Python. So this course is for all the people, those who joined full stack course, as well as the students those who are interested in learning front end like HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. The student who's interested in learning these technologies, even he can also join this course. Okay. The person who want to learn these technologies, HTML, okay, CSS, okay, CSS, JavaScript, and one more is a Bootstrap. But for all these people, this is common. Which one is common? UI. And in this UI, what you are learning is you are learning like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and one more is a Bootstrap. This is what you learn, and it is a common for the full stack Java, full stack .NET, and full stack Python. But maybe for full stack Java, you may have a React, maybe full stack .NET, they may have a React, or full stack Python, they have what Angular JS, right? So it might be different. Now, if you want to join only HTML, CSS, JavaScript, even you can join HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. Okay. Yes. Yesterday, I said duration is 2 months, and yesterday's notes I uploaded in my Telegram. This notes is uploaded in my Telegram. If you want, you can just open it and see. Right. Hmm. Okay. Yes. So I said as a part of this UI module, you are learning how many projects, 2 projects you are learning. And these are the types of applications. I said yesterday, in the company, you find different types of applications. And there is an application called standalone applications or desktop applications. And second one is what? Web applications. Okay. And third one is distributed applications. And fourth one is mobile applications, IoT applications, AI applications. I said about what is a standalone applications or desktop applications. I said about web application. I said about what is a distributed application. I said about what is a mobile applications is. And even I said IoT applications. And even I explain about AI applications. And after these applications, I started networking fundamentals. I said, what is a networking is? I said, networking is a logical or physical connection between two or more devices. Networking is a logical or physical connection between two or more devices. That is called what? networking. So what is the advantage of networking? Okay, you are using networking for sharing what data or information. Okay, right. So this is what exactly. So the what is the advantage of networking is sharing the data or information or sharing what resources. And I said based on the size and based on the distance, this networks can be classified into what three categories. One is LAN, MAN, and one more is WAN. I said, what is the meaning of LAN is local area network. MAN is metropolitan area network. WAN means wide area network. Okay. And what is internet? Wide area network, or it is called networks of networks. Okay, this internet or networking can be a connection oriented or it can be connectionless. Whereas in connection oriented, two or more devices are connected using what cables. So that is called as a connection oriented. In connectionless, two or more devices are connected using radio signal. It work with some devices installed inside a computer or what mobile. So that is what I said, antenna or some other softwares required to have a connectionless communication. And after that, I said first network is introduced or created by US Defense Organization called which one? ARPANET. The Advanced Research Project Agency Network. That is a abbreviation of ARPANET was first wide area packet switching network with distributed control and the first computer network to implement which protocol? TCP/IP protocol. And after that, I started with what is a web is. Web is not internet. Okay, web is not internet. Okay, web is a part of what internet with a restricted access. Web is not internet. So web is a part of internet or restricted access on internet is called which one? Web. And web also called as what? World Wide Web, or it is also called W3. Is a system of it is a system of interconnected public web pages accessing through what here? Internet. So web is invented by, okay, web is invented by a person called Tim Berners-Lee. Okay. So web is invented by, just see here, web is invented by, so 1 minute. Okay, now this is what exactly it is. So this is what is a web. Now today we'll talk about what is a web and what is the difference between web applications and web site, and we'll see some fundamentals of what web. Okay. Yes, sir. So web is a part of internet or restricted access on internet is called which one? Web. Okay. So here web is invented by a person called Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, Tim Berners-Lee. Okay. So name of the person who invented okay, is the name of the person who invented which one? Who is invented which one? Web. Okay, web is invented by a person who's called as a father of web. Okay, so the name of the person is Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, Tim Berners-Lee. This is the name of the person. You can see this person. Now, this is the inventor of which one? Web. Is a 69 years old. See, this is a person. Okay, yes. And he invented web. Okay, who's called as a Father of which one? Web. Okay. And this web is maintained. Web is maintained by web. Web standards. Web standards are maintained by maintained by a non-profitable organization called okay W3C. Okay, web standards are maintained by a non-profitable organization called W3C. Who invented web? Berners-Lee. Okay, but whenever you want to develop any web site or web application, you have to develop this web site or web application by following certain rules and regulations. Now, who will tell this or who will dictate these rules and regulations? By one organization. What is the name of that organization? W3C. So what is W3C, or same thing you can call it as WWWC. So both are what here? Same. What is W3 stands for? Worldwide, 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 worldwide web. Okay. Consortium. Okay. Okay. World Wide Web Consortium. This is called as W3C. So it is a non-profitable organization who maintain what here? Standards. What is the meaning of standards? The standards defines set of rules and regulations. Regulations for developing what here? Rule for developing web applications or web sites. For developing web applications or web sites. So what is the current version of web? What is the current version of web standards you are following? The current version of web is web 3. What is the current version of web you are using? Web 3. Okay, this is a current version of what? Web. You find different versions of programming languages or not? Huh? You find like suppose what is the current version of Java? Tell me here, what is the current version of Java? Java people are there or not there? All are Python only. .NET, Java. What is the current version of Java? 22 or 21 is there, right? Okay. That is the current version of what? Java, right? In the same way, you are developing websites. You are developing websites or you are developing web applications. But you are developing web applications by using which version standards? You are developing it by using what? Web 3. Now there is an official website you can find W3C. Now you can see W3C. What is this W3C? The World Wide Web Consortium develops standards and guidelines to help everyone to build what is that web-based principles or accessibility. It is an open source and it is managed by non-profit. It is a non-profitable organization. In this, you find so many people in this you can also contribute here. Who is fond of this W3C? You can see. So W3C World Wide Web is an international public interest non-profitable organization where members organization, a full-time staff and public work together to develop which standards? Web standards and founded by whom? Inventor. Who's the inventor of this? Tim Berners-Lee, ring honor. So these standards are developed by some people, group of people, and these standards are followed by the persons who develop what? Web applications or web sites. Web applications or web sites. Okay. Yes. In this, you have a lot of members here. W3C community. So there will be members and there is a staff and there is also what? Developers. How many developers are working? Some 14,700. So members are there. Some 350 members are there. Okay. These people will define what here? Standards. Standards are nothing but some set of rules and regulations. Okay. How to develop? Because You cannot develop the web the way how you want it. You cannot develop the web the way how you want it. You have to follow some rules and regulations or not. Yes. For example, a person is there. A person want to construct the bridge. A person want to construct what? Bridge. Okay. The person who construct the bridge is called as which person? Civil engineer, right? So he should follow certain rules and regulations for constructing the bridge. If he's not following the rules and regulations, and if we construct the bridge, what will happen? After some days, bridge will be collapse. Yes or no? In the same way, you are also engineer. You are also what here? Engineer. You are which engineer? Software engineer. Okay. You are a software engineer. You want to develop a web. You want to develop a web or web application. Then you have to follow certain standards or not. Yes. What are these standards? Who dictate these standards? These standards are dictated by one organization. What is the name of that? W3C. Understood? Okay. So tell me, what is web? Web is a part of internet, or restricted access on internet is called web. Is it web is internet or part of internet? Part of internet. So don't compare internet and what? Web. Internet is only networking which is used to access what? Web. Okay, na? Yes. Web also called which one? World Wide Web, or it is also called W3. And who invented web? Tim Berners-Lee. Who maintained the web? W3C. What is W3 stands for? World Wide Web Consortium. This is a main abbreviation of W3C. It is a non-profitable organization which defines some rules and regulations. It defines the standards. It defines the standards for developing not only websites or web applications, it also defines the standards for developing web technologies. You want to develop any web technology or web, uh, anything related with the web, then they follow by using the rules given by whom? W3C. Okay. Is it clear up to this? What do you say, all of you? Okay. Then next one is what is next? What I'm talking about is what is web? Okay. Website. What is website and web? Okay. Website and web application. What is a website and web application? Okay, all of you clear up to this? Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask those who are in the online. You can put your questions in the chat window also. Okay, so now you are learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? What do you want to develop? What do you want to develop? You develop website or web application? Website or web application? Web application. You want to develop web application. Okay. Website. You don't develop websites, sir. Website. No. Only web applications, sir. Both. Both. Very good. Both you want to develop. You want to develop website as well as what? Web application. Okay. Now what is a what is a website here? Okay. What is a web site here? So website is a collection of. Okay. Website. Website is a collection of what? Static. Okay, static resources. Website is a collection of what? Static resources. What are the static resources here? It is having some HTML. It is having what? Web pages. It is having web pages which are embedded with what? Images, which are embedded with what? Videos, which are embedded with what? Audios. Now this you call it as which one? Website. So in website, there is no interaction. There is no interaction of what? User. In website, there is no interaction. Okay. In website, in website, a user or end user cannot interact with what? cannot interact with what? Website. Cannot interact. Cannot interact. See here. In website, end user cannot interact. Cannot interact means he cannot give any inputs. He cannot give any inputs. It is only what? Read only. A website is what? Read only. A website is read only, where you cannot do any manipulation. Read only, where you cannot do any manipulation. Okay, that you can call it as what here? Website. That is called as a website here. Okay. Now, if you want to develop a website, for example, can you tell me an example of website? Tell me, is it Amazon is a website, web application? Amazon, Flipkart, all these are websites or web applications or web applications. Why they are called as a web applications? Because end user is interacting with the application or not? Yes. Yes or no? Suppose I develop a single page. Assume that if you take a Wikipedia, okay, Wikipedia, can you call that as a website or not? Yes. Because where it is just like a book, where what do you open the book and read all the pages one by one. You open the book and read all the pages one by one. That you can call it as which one here? Website. So where end user will not interact, what he'll do it just open the site and read all the content one by one. Suppose tutorials are there. Some tutorials are interactive. Some tutorials are what? Some tutorials are what? Static. Okay, it is not interactive. Suppose blogs are there. Blogs. If you see blog contain how many pages? One page. Blog, blog, right? So where you put information about a person. For example, nowadays, in previous, nowadays people are uploading in YouTube, but previously they used to put all the things in what? Blog. So wherever they travel, all that information they try to put in what? Blog. So what blog is it interactive or only read only? Read only. So where you just open it and read the content of it. So where there is no interaction of what? End user. There's no authentication. You don't do any login. You don't do any logout. Nothing. You don't interact with that application. So that you call it as which one? Website. So to develop a website, you required only two things. One is HTML and one more is what? CSS. Okay, just using HTML and CSS, you can able to develop what? Website. Getting or not? Okay, yes. Then what is a web application? What is a web application? Okay, if you are talking about web application, okay, so web application is a collection of which resources? Static resources and which resources? Dynamic resources. Okay, it is a collection of both. Means it requires some extra it requires some extra technologies. It requires some extra technologies, and that extra technologies you call it as what? Dynamic. So it required programming at which side? Server side. Okay. So web application is a collection of static resources as well as dynamic resources. Okay. So what is the meaning of this in web application? In a web application, okay, end user interact with what here? Application. In web application, end user interact with the application. Example is what? Login. Okay. Example is login, or what is that? Sign in. Okay. You write a sign in. You have what? Sign up. All these are what? Is it information provided by whom? End user. So such kind of applications, you call it as what? Web application, where you can perform certain operations. An application which allows you to perform some operations, that you call it as which application? Web application. For developing this web applications, you required For example for web application is Amazon, Flipkart. All these are the example for what? Web applications. Suppose you open, for example, you open Amazon, right? So Amazon is there. Okay, now if you see this Amazon, okay, here you are displaying all the products, and at the same time, I can do which operation? Searching. Is it searching is one operation or not? Yes. Means you are interacting with the application or not? Yes. At the same time, you are selecting one product and you are adding to what? Cart. Is it that is one operation or not? Yes. For example, if you see Wikipedia is there. Okay. If you see Wiki, right? Okay, Wikipedia, if you see it, okay, here, are you doing any, here also you have an interaction. I cannot say this because here you have a search, right? If it is having any operation, if you are trying to do any operation, then it is not called as what? Website. It is called as a web application. Even single operation is performed, one single operation it allows to perform, then it is not called as a website, it is called as what? Web application. So even I cannot say Wikipedia is also website. It is what again? Web application, because it is providing which one? Search. It is also providing which one? Search. Okay. You're also providing a search, right? Can I say every web application is a website? You cannot say that. Every web application, you cannot say it as a website, right? Because I said website doesn't allow you to interact. Okay. Website allows you to read it, but doesn't allows you to what? Interact. Okay. Like blocks are mini blocks. These are the example for what? Websites which contain one page that will provide some information. Okay, na? Right. So that is where you find the difference between website and what? Web application. So when you're talking about web applications required which programming? Server side programming. Web application required some server side programming, and this can be done by using React. This can be done by using Node. This can be done by using Spring Boot. This can be done by using Django if it is a Python. So using this, you can able to build what here? Web applications. So that is where you find a difference between website and web application. Is it this is clear? What do you say here? Is it this is clear? Difference between website and web application. Okay. Right. Now next is yeah, I'll explain that. What is a server and what is a browser? I'll explain that. Don't worry. Everything will say. One by one will say. Okay. Right. First we started with networking, and then I said what is a web and what is a website and web application. So whatever you find on the web, don't think that although all those are what? Websites only. On the web, you find different types of content, right? On the web, you find different types of content. You find different types of content. Okay, na? So what type of content you find? Website, web application, podcast, wiki. All these are what? Different types of content which you can find on what? Web. So you should not say all are what? Websites only. Okay. So that difference you must know it. Is it Google also web application? Yes, it is a search engine, right? It is a search engine. Can I say that is a web application? Yes. I said, any application which allows you to perform a single event or single operation is called what? Web application only. Web application where end user communicate, do one event or do one operation, then definitely that is called as what? Web application. Okay. If you see search engine, you are saying it is an engine, right? Searching it is. So searching means based on the based on the word what you type in the Input, you should search and get the content or not? Yes. Is it that is a static or dynamic? Dynamic. Getting or not? So that is not a website. It is called as what? Web application. It is not a website. It is a web application. Okay, now? Yes. Then next, now to develop this web application, or website, what you required? To develop this web application or website, what you required? What you required? I want to develop a web application or website. What we required? Some softwares are not. Some softwares are not. Yes, you have to install some softwares. You have to install some softwares. Okay, na? So what are the softwares? I'm not telling HTML. Understood? Okay, first we'll complete the configurations and all the things, and then I'll tell you what is HTML and how to create a web page. What is a web page? Where HTML is used? HTML is a which language? What is HTML stands for? Hypertext Markup Language. Very good. Hypertext Markup Language. What is what is hypertext? What is markup? What is language? Okay, in abbreviation, you have so many questions, right? What is hyper? What is a text? Hypertext. What is markup? What is a language? Hyper. You'll say no. This person is hyperactive. Yes or no? One person is hyperactive. Hyperactive means normal more. Okay, normal से ज़्यादा है. Then you'll say what is this person is what hyperactive. Hyper means over. Hyper means what? Over. But what is hypertext? Overtext. Hypertext means overtext? No. So there is a special meaning is there. I'll try to explain that. Don't worry. Right? Okay. So next, now software. So set up here, softwares required. Software required for developing what? Web application or website. Okay, software required for developing web application or website. Okay. So first is, so for developing this, first what you required? One editor. What you required? One editor. What is that editor I'm using is VS Code. So most of the people, they'll try to use what? VS Code for developing web application or website. I'll use only one, VS Code. You can use Sublime. You can use what? Uh, what you can use? Edit Plus also you can use. You can use Notepad. Okay. But what is a what you required is VS Code is an editor, right? It is called as VS Code is an IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So it is editor where you write the code and debug the code and execute the code. It means in one environment, you are trying to do all the operations or not? Yes. In one environment, you are doing all the operations. So you have to install which code? VS Code. VS Code means what? Visual Studio. Sorry. Visual Studio Code. Who provided this? Microsoft. Okay, this is provided by whom? Microsoft. Okay, now. So you have to install first which one? VS Code. Now where you go to? You just open, okay, Visual Studio Code download. Okay. Now you can see download Visual Studio Code. Can you find download Visual Studio Code, right? So for Windows, and this is for Linux, and this is for what? Mac. Okay. So first you have to download, but this is what here? Free and open source. Okay. So now this is a link, I'm copying it. Okay. This is a link I'm copying here. From here, you can download which one? VS Code. So by tomorrow you have to download everything. Okay. So that we can work with the web application development, right? Okay. Yes. So which one you download? You download for Windows. Okay. If you are having Mac, download for which one? Mac. No problem. Okay. Anything you can download. So next, after downloading second is what? Okay. After downloading this VS Code, now you can see just as here in my system, I have a VS Code here. Okay, VS Code is there in my systems here. Visual Studio Code. Okay, yes. Okay, this is a Visual Studio Code which is already there in my system. So this is a VS Code. Okay, this is a VS Code. And after installing the VS Code, using this VS Code, you can write any type of programs. You can write a C program in VS Code. You can write a Java program in VS Code. You can write a C++ program in what? VS Code. Anything you can do in what? VS Code. But to do that, what you need to do is you need to add some extensions. You need to add some extensions. See, here you find what? Extensions. You required some extensions here. Okay, now extension is nothing but software. Okay, extension is one extra software it required because VS Code is able to use to develop any type of programs or not. Yes, I said Java program, C program. Okay, but when install the VS Code, can you able to write any program? No, you have to install which one? Extension. So what are the extensions you required to develop this web application is, okay, anyway, you required some certain things after installing, anyway, browser will be there. Okay, anyway, browser will be there because you access your web application from where? Browser. But you required some extensions. What are the extensions? These are the extensions you require to add. What are the extensions required to add is, first one is VS Code. First one is VS Code. What is that here? Icons. Just add one extension. What is that extension? VS Code icons. Okay. Just go to this and here you have an extensions, right? Just click on this extensions and add one extension. What is that extension? VS Code. VS Code what? Icons. Okay, VS Code icons. Select this and already it is installed VS Code icons. Installed or not? Okay. The next one is you required. Okay. IntelliSense. IntelliSense. IntelliSense for which one? CSS and HTML. Okay. So one more thing you have to install it. What is it? Another thing? IntelliSense. Okay, IntelliSense for which one? CSS. IntelliSense here. IntelliSense for what here? CSS. Select this. Okay, here this one is there, no? IntelliSense. Sorry. IntelliSense for what? CSS. Intelli means intelligence. Okay. It means when you start writing the programming in HTML and CSS, you want certain things to be displayed automatically. Sensing is nothing but suppose if I write H, then it should display all the things related with what? H. If I'm writing B, it should display all the things related with what? B. Because HTML is having so many tags and CSS is having so many tags. Remembering is what? Complex. But as a beginner, you have to remember. But once you become expertise, you don't require to remember because this IntelliSense will show you all the tags. All the tags. Now install this IntelliSense. IntelliSense for what? CSS. Class names in HTML. Okay. IntelliSense. Spelling Intelli. Li. Okay, IntelliSense CSS. Okay. So this is one more thing. And one more you have to install is live server. One more thing you have to install is live server. Now, these three things you have to install it. Okay. But I'm not telling you the package managers and all the things because you're not working with any Angular JS or React JS or Node JS. I'm not telling other things. Okay. Now, I'm just telling you VS Code icons, IntelliSense CSS, and one more is which one? Live servers. So, what is this VS Code icons? Is nothing but see here. I'll tell you again, don't worry. I'm just telling you what is exactly the meaning of this. Anyway, browser will be there here. Anyway, browser is a part of your system or not? Yes. So just to see here, just to see what is the meaning of each and every extension. What is the meaning of each and every extension? I'll try to explain it. Okay. All of you are getting or not? Huh? Yes or no? Okay. See, I'm not started any HTML. HTML is not HTML is not started. Okay, we have just learned what is web application, what is a website, and for developing website, we are setting the system. For developing website, we are setting the system. Okay, na? Yes. Then here, what I'll do is I just create one folder. I'll tell you this. Don't worry. Okay, but I just create one folder. And what is the name of this folder I've given is some tester. Okay. But what is this folder? All these things I'll explain it. I'll tell you what is the structure of web application and everything. Okay. So, but why I created this? Because to understand what is this VS Code icons and what is this IntelliSense. For example, whenever you add any program, suppose you are adding one new file. New file means I'm creating one file. Which file? HTML file. Okay. HTML file. If I'm writing a dot, I'm writing a dot what? HTML. So what is the icon? Is it shown the icon or not? Yes. This is which icon? HTML icon. So you can recognize, yes, yes, you can recognize this file is which type by just seeing what here icon. Okay, these are called as which one? VS Code icons. If you create, for example, I create some b dot which one? CSS. Okay, now what is the extension of this CSS? But it is having one icon or not? Yes, this is CSS3 and this is what? HTML5. See here, 5 is there and CSS3 is there. Suppose if I'm adding one file, which file I'm adding? Some C.js. So immediately it is shown this as what? JavaScript. What these are called? Icons. Okay. For example, I'm creating one folder and inside this folder, I want to put what? Images. So is it showing the folder with images or not? Yes. If I'm creating a folder and inside, sorry, I'm creating a folder and inside this folder, I'm creating one folder called which one? Audio. Is it audio symbol is there or not? Yes. Okay. If I'm creating one more folder with what here? Video. Then it is shown with another symbol or not? Yes. What these are called? Icons. So these icons are used to remember. I mean, identify what is the content is. Yes or no? What is the content each one and what is the type of file is, what is the type of content that you can identify with what? VS Code icons. Understood? Okay, not only that, IntelliSense is there. See, this is HTML type. IntelliSense is there. Now, suppose you just write this and press enter. Exclamatory and press enter. Is it everything is document structure is defined or not? Yes. So when I can get this, if I'm adding an extension called which one? IntelliSense. Not only that, if I'm writing any tag, for example, if I'm typing any tag, if I'm writing like this, for example, if I'm typing A, then I'll get all the things related with what? A. If I'm writing H, I'll get all the things related with what? H. It means as a developer, is it required to remember the tags? Remember or not remembered? Remembered, you remember or don't remember? Remember. Because you should know which tag is used for what. Once you expertise, you don't require to remember. Because everything is shown by what? Editor. Everything is shown in what? Editor only. But you should know the meaning, right? Which tag is used for what? You should know the meaning, which tag is used for what. Okay. Now this is one more. VS Code and one more is a IntelliSense. You understood these differences? And one more is which one? Live server. Okay, live server. You required a server. You required a server. Server, right? Okay, server. I'll explain that. What is the types of servers you find? Okay. Now you required a server where? Server. The name itself, right? Server. You go to hotel, right? Who will serve? Who will serve items? Who will serve the items? Server. Okay. You give the order to what? Server. You give the order to server. Server go to kitchen. Server give that in kitchen. Kitchen, some people will be there or not. Yes, those who prepare what? Food. And given to whom? Server. And server will give to customer. So here also same thing. Where is your application is installed in server? Where is your application is installed in server? Okay. Who will serve your application resources to the end user? Server. Based on which one? Request. Based on the request. So web work based on two things. One is a request and one more is what? Response. Request is nothing but input. Response is nothing but what? Output. So where you install your web application in one server, where you install your website in one server. Okay. This server can be either local server or it can be what? Cloud server. Okay. It can be a local server or it can be what? Cloud server. Okay. Cloud server. Okay. Na? So VS Code icons and IntelliSense CSS, and you required which one? Server. Why you required a server? To install web application and to serve your web applications to home client. Why you require a server? For serving or not? Yes. Serving what? Your web application. Your web application resources to either one client or more than one client. Serving your web application resources to either one client or more than one client. See here. What will happen if you type www dot, suppose I'm writing www dot, okay, www dot some gmail dot or google dot, I said, or amazon.com, anything you take, amazon.com. When you type here www.amazon.com, what is this is called? What is this amazon.com is called? This is called as what? URL. This is called what? URL. What is URL stands for? Uniform Resource Locator. Uniform Resource Locator. Location. Yes or no? This is a location where, which application is there? Web application is there. Which web application? Amazon. Is it a location or not? Yes. Suppose you'll say, suppose you create one folder. You create one folder in the system. Okay. You create one folder in one system, in your system. You create one folder in your system. Then in that folder, you store one file. I want to access that file. I'll ask, what is the location where you store that file? So that location is nothing but what? Address. That location is nothing but what here? Address. I'll discuss this. What is this is called as a URL. URL. Who create a URL? You create a URL? No, your server, when you are deploying your application in the cloud, you create one URL. This URL is nothing but virtual directory. See, there are two directories will be there in web application development. One is a physical directory and one more is what? Virtual directory. This is which name? This is which name? Virtual directory name. This is which name? Virtual directory name. It is not a physical directory name where you store all the resources. It is not a physical. It is what? Virtual. I'll discuss that. Don't worry. but just to try to understand what is a server is a program where you install the application, and the server will serve your application resources either to one client or more than one client. So how you install this live server? Again, go to extensions, and then search for what? Search for what? Live server. Now you can see there's a live server here. Now you can see this is what here? Live server. Install it. Install the live server. Okay. Okay, right. Now once you install the live server, you can see at the bottom, you can find one icon. Okay, with some antenna here. See here. Click to run which server? Live servers here at the right side. At the right side, you can find, see here, at right side, you can find what is the name of this go live. This is nothing but click to run which server? Live server. Click to run the live server. Okay, right. So these are the required. These are the things which are required to work with HTML, CSS, to work with HTML and CSS. But once you work with the Bootstrap, I'll tell you how to work with the Bootstrap. Okay, na? But right now, I just given the idea about how to work with the HTML. What is the setup required to work with the HTML and CSS? Okay, na? Right. The next, now this is understood? You understood this one? Okay, then next is, now just now I said about which one? Just now I said about which one? Server. Okay. Just now I said about which one? Server. Okay. You required a server. You required a server. So what is a server? Server. Okay. Server is a program. Server is a program. A server is what here? Software. Server is a program, or server is what? Software which serve resources, which server. Okay, with server resources to one or one or more than one or more than one or more than what? Client. So server works based on two things. One is called as which one? Request, and second one is what? Response. Whenever you talk about web, so web work based two things. One is a request and one more is a response. What is the request here? Input. What is the response here? Output. Request is nothing but input given by the client, and response is nothing but output generated by server. Okay, server. And when you're talking about this server, so servers are how many types here? Two types. I said one is called as a, now here types of servers here. One is you can install this server locally. That server is called which server? Local server. This server can be available in what? Cloud. That you can call it as which server? Cloud server. For example, you develop a web application. For example, you develop a web application and install. Local means what? A server. Local server. What is the meaning of local server? What is the meaning of local server? A server installed in the system locally, in the same system. Your application is there in the same system, and your server is also there in the same system. Local means installed in the current system or same system where you develop the web application and used by only one person. That you call it as which server? Local server. A server installed in what? System is called which server? Local server. Cloud means web. Cloud means what? Web. Web means it is available to all, but local means it is available to one. It is available to one. So local server, if application is installed, if application is installed in which server? Local server. It is accessed by one. It is accessed by how many persons? one person, but not accessed by multiple person. That is called as which server? Local server. Are you getting or not? What do you say here? What is a server? Is it a system or software? Software. Okay, it is a software which serve what? Resources. Okay, which serve resources. For example, you find different servers. You find different servers, right? In web application development, you find different servers. For example, you have a which server? Which server will be there? There is which server? Database server. What database server contain? What database server contain? Data. Okay, there is a server. Which server it is? This is one more server, which is called as a which server? Application server. There is an application server. Okay, there is one more server. What is it? Another server? Web. What is this here? Web server. Application server and web server. Application server. Suppose you develop applications. Which applications? Server side applications, right? Suppose you are developing application in what? Spring. You required application server which runs what? Spring. Okay. Now suppose you develop application in what? Django. You required a server which runs which application? Django. You have a PHP. Or suppose if you are trying to develop in what? ASP, then you require an application server which runs what? ASP. You require an application server which runs what? ASP. This is called as which server? Application server. Getting on not? So these are application servers. Now suppose in web there is a client, right? Now always the client is home. Or always the client is home here. Browser. Browser is a client or not? It is called as a thin client. Means always the end user communicate with the website or web application by using one mediator. What is a mediator here? Browser. This browser is also called which one? Thin client. Thin client. Why you are saying it is a thin client? It acts as a mediator between end user and what? Web application. I want to communicate with the web application. How can I communicate it? I required one mediator. And what is that mediator? Browser. And this browser is called which client? Thin client. Now, using browser, what do you do it? You send a request. You are sending a request to which server? Web server. The responsibility of web server. The responsibility of web server is taking what? Request. Server taking the request. Taking the request and communicating with what? Application server. And this might be communicated with what? Database server and get what here? Data. And again communicate with which server? Web server. Responsibility is generating what? Output. And what is this output is called? Response. This output is called response. So web server role is what? Taking the request and generating response. Now your live server is which server? Your live server is which server? Is it a web server or application server? Web server. Your live server is which server? Web server. Web server. It is not a application server. It is a web server. Means this will not execute anything. It will try to serve resources to home? Client. It will try to serve resources to home? Client. If you want to execute, then you require which server? Application server. These are also called server side engines. These are also called which one? Engines. Okay, to work with the Spring, you require Spring container. If you want to work with the Django, you require a Django container. If you want to work with ASP, you require ASP container. But web server can take only request and generate a response. Is it web server role is a static or dynamic? Static. But if you want certain things Sorry. Can you able to hear my voice now? Now, now, okay. Yes. Can you see the screen? Okay, na? Right. Okay. Okay, yeah. Right. Yes, thank you. Arre. Uh, right. See, some terminologies you should know it. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult once you join in the company. You join in the company, right? Then you want to develop web application, right? So web server and application servers, these are two different servers, right? This is web server and this is what application server, and one more is what database servers. Data, this data can read by which one? Applications. And this application, whatever data read by the application, this data is sent to which one? Server. Okay, this application server will process, means these applications will process it and generate some output, and this output is given to what? Server, and that will prepare what? Response. That will prepare the response. Here a web server is just like a hotel. Customer is there. Now simple example is, this person is called what? Customer. Customer is order idli. Customer is order what? Idli. Now who will take order here? Server. Server will prepare idli. Huh? No. Then it given to whom? It is given to whom? Application server. This is what? Kitchen, right? This is a kitchen. Order is given to the server. This is a kitchen. In kitchen you'll have some people or not? Yes. Different types of people. Those are very good, right? Some people will be good in North Indian dishes. Some people will be good in what? South Indian. They are good in certain dishes or not? Yes. Suppose idli, then that request has to be sent to whom? The person who prepare what? Idli. The person who prepare what? Idli. The person who prepare what? Idli. Is it one program or not? Yes. So that person will prepare the idli, but where is the ingredients for preparing idli? It takes some inputs, right? Suppose that input is available in what? Database. From database, he'll take all the ingredients and prepare what? Idli. Then who this person will give to whom? Server, not to the customer. So server what he'll do? He'll serve to whom? Customer. Okay, na? Yes, but this server, this application server is dynamic, but web server is not dynamic. It can serve only static resources. Static means a server. You ask water. You ask water in hotel. You ask water. Water. Then he'll go to kitchen and get the water. No, he'll just get the water. That is static. That is what? Static. Because water is static. Idli is dynamic. Okay, you want some idli with some special idli, karam idli, ghee idli. He cannot prepare it, right? That is dynamic. So one specialized person is required or not? Yes. Who prepare what? Idli. So that you required one program at which side? Server side. You required one program at which side? Server side. Getting or not? Okay. So web server is able to serve only which resources? Static resources, but cannot serve what? Dynamic. Cannot serve dynamic. To serve this dynamic means you want to execute Java program. Is it web server is able to execute Java program? No. Is it web server is able to execute Python program? No. You are writing program at which side? Server side. Is it able to execute Java, Python and .NET by the web server? No. Then you require separate program. To run which programs? Java, .NET and what? Python. These are called which servers now? Application servers. These are some containers. These are some containers. And sometimes you'll say application server contain which one? Web server. Okay, na? Application server contain web server. Okay. Yes, but web server and application server and database server. Okay, now is it clear this one? What do you say here? Live server is what now? Web server or application server? Web server. Okay, now you want to work with the Spring. Then what you required? Application server. You want to work with the Django. What you required? application server. Okay, along with which one? Web server. Okay, na? So web server take the request, and these are nothing but engines. These are what here? Engine. Web application servers are what? Like engine. So you have a separate engine for Spring containers, for a separate container for Spring, separate container for Django, separate container for what? ASP. But some people, they develop these containers by including the features of what? Web server. So application server sometimes work like what? Web server also. Okay, na? What do you say? Application server sometimes work like what? Web server. Okay, na? Web server means it is also having the features of what? Web. Okay, na? It is a superset of web server. Yes. Yes. Local server. A server installed in a system is called which server? Local server. If application is installed, if application is installed in local server, it is accessed by how many persons? One person only. Understood? Okay. So now this is my computer, right? Inside this my computer, I install which server? Live server. Is it that is local? Is it that is local or not? Yes, it is a local. It is in one system, and I can use that application installed in that server by how many people? Only one person. One person. But you can also install in what? Live. You can go live. Means you can install in internet. You can install on internet. What is that? Cloud. Cloud server. Cloud server means remote. It is not here, right? You want to make your website or web application used by all the people worldwide. You want your web application or website should be used by all the people worldwide. Then where you install your application? In cloud server. You install in what? Cloud server. Means making your web application is what? Live. Live to all the people. Now this server is called as which one? Cloud server. For example, you have a GitHub. Okay, GitHub is there, right? You install website. You install or you maintain the website in what? GitHub. Then once you put your application in GitHub, you access that application by using one URL or not? Yes. It means I'm making my application what? Live. I'm making my application is what? Live. Getting or not? It is available to all the people worldwide. Yes. Yes. Hostinger, GitHub. Yes. All this are which servers? Cloud servers. So installing okay, installing web application or what? Website. I'll tell you this also. First we'll install in local. Local means one person. At the end of this course, I'll tell you how to make your web live by installing in what? GitHub, and one more is Hostinger. We'll just see GitHub, not Hostinger. So installing web application or website on which server? Cloud server. Cloud server, which allows web application go live. Which allows web application go what here? Live. It means it is accessed by all the people. All the people what? Worldwide. Worldwide. Okay. So that is nothing but which server? Cloud server. Okay. Understood this differences here? Okay. So local server and one more is a cloud server. What will happen in real time is you develop a web site or web application in local server or cloud server. In real time, in software companies, will you develop web application in local server or cloud server? Cloud server only. Okay, because one web application is developed by one person or multiple persons? Multiple persons, and they should maintain different versions or not? Yes. And one person who develop one should be accessed by what? Another person. Then will you put all these resources in local server or cloud server? Cloud server. So in real time, you never use which server? Local server. In real time, always use which server? cloud server. Getting or not? So one project is not developed by one person. A project is developed by what? Multiple persons. Okay, one person will develop one page. One person will develop what? Another page. But the person who develop one page can access by what? Another page. Then where you put all this in one repository, and that is which one? Cloud. So that they can maintain the version and one person can do the changes which are visible to what? Another person. All these are called what? Version controlling. And that can be done on which server? Cloud server. Is it clear, this one? What do you say here? You understood server? Okay, server and types of servers. Local server and cloud server. And types of servers. Web server, application server, database server. Web server, application server, and database servers. Here, Google, open the Google. And here if I type anything like, what is that? HTML. HTML. When I say HTML, is it I'm getting all the things related with what? HTML. This is search engine or not? Yes. So this search engine is getting all the information, right? From where it is getting all the information? Huh? Where it is getting all this information? Web. See, Google is what? Web application or website? Web application. Google is a web application, right? Web application or website? Web application. Where all this information will be available in one? Where it is available in one? Database. All this information is available in what? Database. So Google is having a data centers. Data center is like a building. A building is treated as one computer. The person who's working in Google is just enter into the building. Building means he'll enter into one computer where you find so many hard disks. Getting or not? So data centers contain data. So Google is having a separate data center. Amazon is having separate data center. Microsoft is having different separate data centers which contain all the data. Now this data is read by which server? Application server, right? So where all this data is available in? Database. Yes or no? Huh? So you don't get directly from web. Web means, don't think web means something else, right? Getting on is a part of internet where you are trying to access. Getting or not? Okay. Yes. Then next is now cloud server and one more is a local server. Then next, I just want to tell you a directory structure. Directory structure of which application? Web application worldwide. Okay. So directory structure of web application or web site. But this is a standard. This is a standard which has to be followed. This is a standard which has to be followed whenever you develop any web application. Okay, using HTML, CSS, and what? JavaScript or Bootstrap or anything, right? But this directory structure might be various when you develop programs at which side? Server side. But until unless you are not including the resources of server side, this directory structure is what? Same. Okay, na? So what is a directory structure? A directory structure which define the rules and regulations of storing different resources in different places. That you call it as which one? Directory structure. Because every project, whenever you develop a project, your project contains so many files or not? Yes. So many programs and so many files. And you need to organize all these files by following the rules and regulation. That is what I said, standards. Okay, standards means rules and regulation. You cannot store the files wherever you want it, right? You cannot store the files wherever you want it. You have to store the files in a specific location which is identified by whom? Server. You have to store in a specific location which is identified by the server. But you don't you will not store wherever you want it. You will not store wherever you want it. Okay, na? Yes. So directory structure of web application or website. What is a directory structure? Web application. What I mean to tell you is web application or website is a collection of web application or website is a collection of what programs, or it is a collection of what resources. Okay, these resources are organized. These resources are organized by following some rules and what regulations. This resources has to be organized by following the rules and regulations, and that you call it as what directory structure. For example, if you take your disk is having so many, now suppose your mobile is having some photos out there. In that you have a personal photos, you have a friend's photos, some X photos or Y photos. Then what do you do it? You organize it or not? Yes. By creating some folders or not? Yes. Okay, personal photos you will put in one folder called personal. Family photos you put inside one folder called family. Why? Identifying, not privacy here. Array. Mobile is with you only, no? Your mobile is taken by somebody else, huh? Not privacy here. Organizing, not privacy. It is organizing. You are organizing images according to the type. Okay, na? Personal photos, if I want to see personal, I just open which folder? Personal. If I want to see X photos, then I'll open which folder? X folder. There I found all the photos belongs to X or not? Yes. Right? So web application or website is a collection of programs, resources, not personal. Don't say security, right? Don't talk about security. Because your mobile is with you only. Your fingerprint will be there. Your pin is there. If I take mobile, can I see it? No. No. This is only organizing just to identify. That's it. Okay, na? So these resources are organized by following the rules and regulations. It is only for identification purpose. Okay, na? So first what you do it? First step is you have to create. First create which folder? Which folder? Project folder. First step is you have to create which folder? Project folder. Just this here, VS Code. See, I'm not talking about any HTML now. I'm just talking about what is web, what is website, what is web application, what is a web servers, and what is a web application directory structure. Okay, na? Yes. Now what I'm doing is just to see here. You want to develop one project. You want to develop project. I close all this. Close folder. Folder is closed here. Okay, na? Now, first you have to create. Create which folder? Project folder. This project folder is also called which folder? Root folder. And this is a physical or logical? Physical directory. This is physical directory. It is available in the hard disk. Okay, na? Yes. Now, here you just create one folder. But is it any option for creating folder here? No. But there is an option for open folder. Just click on open folder. And here you create it. Now, I'm creating in UI batch 9 a.m. Inside this, I'm creating one what folder. You want to develop which project? You want to develop which project? Flipkart. I want to develop a Flipkart. What is my project folder name? Flipkart. You want to develop Amazon. Just give the name as what? Amazon, right? So what is the name of my project folder? Flipkart is a project folder name. Okay, na? So this is a physical or logical? Physical. And inside this, always inside the project, you'll have two types of folders here. Two types of folders. One is called as a public. And what is the second one is called SRC. Two folders will be there. Inside the project folder, How many folders will be there? Two folders. One is a public and one is a SRC. Public means public only. Okay. Public means public only. Don't think పబ్లిక్ అంటే ఏంది అని ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు మీరు. ఎక్కడికో వెళ్తారు. పబ్లిక్ అంటే పబ్లిక్, ప్రైవేట్ అంటే ప్రైవేట్. సార్ నో. Public means this resources can access directly by whom? Client. Public means client. Okay, so all public resources, okay, all public resources, all public resources are stored, or public resources are stored in which folder? Public folder. Public folder. Okay, what are the resources? What are these resources? What are these resources? Inside this public, you can find the resource called which one? Images. You can find the resource called which one? Video. Sorry. You find videos. You find which one? Audios. You find which one? PDFs. PDFs are docs. Anything. All these are which resources? Public resources. And even you find which files? You find which files? HTML, or the extension can be either HTML or what? HTML. And you also find which files? CSS. All these resources you find in which one? Public. All these resources you find in what? Public. Okay. Then second is what? SRC. All server side programs, JS files also. All server side programs, JS files also. Okay. Already. Okay, all server side programs are stored in which folder? SRC folder. Like Java programs, or you may put in SRC also, JavaScript. Okay, na? So that is a public, and one more is what? SRC. Two folders you need to create. Two folders you need to create. One is a public and one more is what? SRC. SRC. JS files. Even you can put in SRC, right? Okay. So these are the two folders which you need to create. Now select the Flipkart and insert this. What is the folder I should create? Public. I just put it as what? Public. See here. Then select this. Select project. See, select project. Don't select public again and create folder. If you select public and create folder, where is the folder is created in? Inside the public. Take care of this. Click on the Flipkart. Flipkart means this one. Outside. Click outside and then click on folder. What is this folder now? SRC. SRC is another folder. See here. Is it changing or not? See, this is one person symbol is there here. Person means what? Public. It is public to whom? All the people. Any person can access this content. Okay, na? Inside the public, I'm creating number of folders. What I'm creating? Images. Okay. Inside the public, I'm creating one more folder. What is that folder? Videos. Inside the public, select the public and create one folder. What is that folder? Docs. I just create one folder called docs. Inside the public, I'm creating one folder. What is that folder? CSS. Now all this I'm creating as a part of which one? Public. Understood or not? Okay, this is called which folder? Public folder. And this public and SRC folder is there in what? Project. This is my project. It is having public resources as well as resources which are executed at which side? Server side. So creating folder is just click outside and create folder in which folder? Root folder. If you want to create a folder in public, select the public and click on what? Create a folder. Is it clear up to this? All of you? What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. Then tomorrow, yes. We have not started HTML, okay, na? So first we are setting up what we are setting up? Environment. So first we set up the environment and then we start developing what? Project. Developing project. Okay. So by tomorrow you complete this. Okay, what is your today's task? What is task? What do you need to install? You have to install which code? VS Code, and try to set up these things. VS Code icons, IntelliSense, CSS, live server. Just do the experiment. Okay, experiment, you do it. Okay, na. And today's notes I'll be uploading in my Telegram. Okay, na. This is my Telegram. Okay, please join in this Telegram. Yesterday's notes also I uploaded. Yesterday's notes also I uploaded. Okay. So today's task is just install the install VS Code, and install the VS Code and install all extensions. Okay, na? Yes. Is it clear, all of you? Okay. Yes. Any doubts are there? You can ask tomorrow or some other day, right? I'm came here for which one? Angular. Angular. Should I take that separately? Okay, no problem. Yes. Now this is my Telegram, and yesterday I uploaded notes, and today's notes also I'll upload in my Telegram. Okay, na? And if you have any doubts, you can send to my mail also. Okay, this is my mail ID. You can take this one, Python by Gupta @Gmail. Okay. See, I train both full stack Java. I know full stack Java. I know what full stack Python, and even I'm good in what data structures and algorithms. Okay. My name is, yes, this is my name, and I'm working with Naresh Shetty from past 20 years in Naresh Shetty only. Genuine. Huh? In Naresh Shetty only, this is genuine. Amirpet means you'll think, right? Arey, sahi bol raha, galat bol raha. Yes or no? Huh? You can ask any person in Amirpet. Any person in Amirpet is a genuine, not a fake. Some people, they'll put a banner, right? Java God, Java father, is invented Java, is invented all the things, right? All these people are old, right? Okay, it's a genuine. You can ask anybody in Naresh Shetty, you ask anybody in Amirpet. You go to other institutes also, you ask about me, they'll tell how much years I'm working in Naresh Shetty. As a genuine, it is not a fake, right? And I trained so many students. 20 years means, I think, lakhs of students, not in thousands, right? Lakhs of students on. I started with C, data structures, C++, Java. Now currently, I'm in what? Python. Okay, na. So this is my Telegram. This is my Telegram ID. Okay, na. This is my Telegram ID, and this is my mail ID. Any problem is there, you send to my mail. And you also have a lab. Okay, those who want to do the lab, they can go to the lab and they can work. Okay, na? Right. So please do all the things, and tomorrow we'll start what? HTML. Okay, na? Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Thank you. Videos nahi malum yaar. Videos I cannot say. Two months. This class is for 2 months. Okay. This class is for 2 months. Every time you provide a link. Yes. Which link? Complete JavaScript. Yes. I'll share the syllabus. Maybe tomorrow I'll share the syllabus. You don't teach Angular? Yes. I don't teach Angular. Angular is not a part of this module. Angular is not a part of this module. Cloud only. Karthik. Cloud server they'll use. No. I don't teach full stack .NET. Only full stack Java, full stack Python. Okay. Yesterday's class link, I'll just find out and let you know. Neha. Yeah, we'll develop 2 projects. We'll develop 2 projects. JavaScript, it maybe after 1 month. Rashid, after 1 month. After 1 month, it will start. NumPy pandas is not yet started. So once it's started, I'll tell you. Okay. If React best, yes, you can learn React. Yes, I'll ask them and provide you, right? Now Telegram you can find 13,000 students are there already. Yogeshwari, you can find this code CODE. Okay. So most of the concepts will be covered. Most of the concepts will be covered. Okay. Okay. Sir, for freshers, is it enough? Yes, enough. But you need to learn even server side like Angular or Django or anything you have to learn. Okay. Yeah, you can attend offline. This is online as well as offline. I'll find out, Rashad. I'll find out. Okay. I'll find out. When your Django class starts, uh, maybe it will take some time. Okay. Akhil. Yeah, you have to learn. For Angular, you need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay. Okay, right? Right. Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Right? Yeah, tell me, Shakil. What Shakil? Rashid. Bolo here, Rashid. I'll share the syllabus. Just see it, whether you are comfortable. So based on that, you can join. Shakil. Okay, na? I'll share the syllabus of JavaScript. Okay, right. So this notes will be there in my uh, Telegram. Okay, this is my Telegram. You can join in this Telegram. Okay, join in my Telegram. There you find my notes. Okay, correct. So thank you. We'll see tomorrow.